In the previous video, I introduced the concept of composite functions. We did some examples. I want to do a couple of more examples here, and these are going to be examples of composite functions in slightly different twists. So I'm not going to give you formulas for the functions that we're doing composite functions of. I'm going to give you other information about them. And the first example here, I'm going to give you a table. So f of x and g of x, they're unknown functions. I'm not telling you exactly a formula for them in the same way that I told you f of x is 3x squared minus x here. But what I have done is that I'm telling you what is f of x, evaluate x equal to -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And I'm giving you that same information about g of x down here, evaluate those function values, these arguments. So for example, we can tell here f of 0 is 3, g of 1 is -3. That's how we read this table. So let's just take a look at the examples that require exercises down here. So the first thing is that we're being asked for f composed with g evaluated at 0. So of course we know that this is f of g of 0. So what do we have to do? We evaluate this from the inside out. So g of 0 is -2. And so now we're asking for f of -2. F of -2 is 0. Okay, the second example here, g of f of -1. So again, we evaluate this from the inside out. What is f of -1? F of -1 is 1. So we're being asked for g of 1. And g of 1 here is -3. Okay, and then the last example here, f of g of -1. So now this is we have 3 functions that we're composing together instead of just 2. But we do this in the same way that we're going to work from the inside out. So what does this give us? G of -1 is 0. So we start off with f of g of -1 is 0. What is g of 0? G of 0 is -2. And what is f of -2? It's 0. So that is how we use this kind of table. It just gives us we're just giving you're on a need-to-know basis with this table. I'm just giving you enough information to be able to determine what's going on here. So this is doing composite functions with a table. The other example I want to do here in this video is composite functions using a graph. So I'm not telling you what the equations of these functions are. I mean, if you're assuming that these are straight line functions, it would be easy enough for you to figure out equations of these functions. The textbook's example right here makes it a little bit more interesting. I didn't want to draw those, but without further ado, let me kind of say what is the question I am asking you for. Let's suppose that I'm asking you for what is g of f of 1. So the red line here is g of x, the blue line here is f of x. So g of x, f of 1, evaluate from the inside out. F of 1 will be 2. So this is asking us what is g of 2. G of 2 is going to be 4. So first we use the blue line because we're doing the f of x first, and then we use the red line, g of x second. Okay, so those were 2 examples of how to get composite functions without using formulas, using either graphs or a table.